Hello, my name is Matt. Welcome to Unbearable 73. Best legacy news this bloody year. For the first time in over 23 years, Mercyful Fate has released a new song. There are some bands who are the influence behind other bands, but they don't really get the mass success that other acts that are, that the influence tend to get. Okay, one of the most legendary bands in this regard is Mercyful Fate. This band was formed in 1981 by the truly legendary vocalist King Diamond and then guitarist Hank Sherman, and it was in the Netherlands. They were a mix of progressive rock, heavy metal, and hard rock. They were one of the first black metal bands, along with Bathory and a couple of others, I think Venom, one, two, three others, in that early 80s period. They had themes of horror movies, Satanism, and the occult in their songs, but they were telling stories more so than they were, like some of the crazier, crazier Norwegian black metal bands who were actively Satanists and all that. Pretty much all the major thrash and death metal bands cite Mercyful Fate and King Diamond's self-titled band, King Diamond, as foundational influences. They had 7 studio albums before they broke up, or as it turned out, went on hiatus twice. The last time they went on hiatus was like very early 2000s. Their last live performance with a new song was in 1999. Now, I've linked an article from Blabbermouth in the description that I have on the screen here. It's a good summary of what has occurred. Has links to some of the newer songs, some of their old songs that performed in a recent set at this live concert that I'm talking about. The new song at this live concert, which was, I believe, last week, is called The Jackal of Salzburg. It's a reference to the Salzburg witch trials around 1670 or so. This is a black mark in human history. There are a lot of worse things, but just listen. The Salzburg witch trials happened around the year 1670 to 1685. I know they started after 1670, but I'm not sure exactly. There's a time period about 3 or 4 years in there. I think the last ended in 1682 or 3. Yeah. So, Barbara Kohler and Paul Kalfenpacher, they were put on trial for sorcery, which is a fairly common thing back in the Middle Ages, apparently. And after being tortured, she confessed that her son was also a witch. This led to a series of torture-induced confessions that eventually ended in 139 executions in less than 2 years, mainly of poor and homeless minors. 39 were minors below the age of 15, 52 were teenagers between 15 and 21, and despite what many might think, 113 of these 139 children were male. But not all, they weren't, even though the vast majority were children, there were even some older people as well. Again, this was, just to keep you aboard, there were people besides all these children killed, Not that it was bad, I'm just saying it was a very broad thing, These executions, they weren't swift or merciful. Almost all of these poor people were tortured and burned, either alive or after being hanged or decapitated. Okay? So, and what Mercyful Fate does with this event is tell the story in the dark and foreboding atmosphere that the story needs to be told properly. It's not enough. Reading this stuff in a history book is cool to know the history and remind us what goes on. Because after all, those who do not know history are doomed to repeat it. Right? Although we seem to be doing it right now at some other events. But anyway, I have a link to the new track below. Check it out before it gets taken down on that dude's website. The track, even without the post-production, backing vocals and instrumental tracks, it's pretty good. Very good, I should say. King Diamond's in his late 60s now, and he's still top level in terms of vocal performances. I've begun listening. I haven't listened to black metal probably, I stopped in about 10 years ago, other than a couple of tracks here and there. And then about the last 4 or 5 years, I've been getting an ear for it again. I've been listening to a lot more King Diamond. And the dude's voice is amazing. This album can't come fast enough. Please listen to the track, support King Diamond and Mercyful Fate when they release their album next year. Comment down below if you have any questions for me about this video or the band or whatever I can share for you. Please share your thoughts. Share this video if you enjoyed it. Like if you like. Dislike if you dislike. Subscribe if you want to hear more from me. My name is Matt. This has been Unbearable 73. Have a nice day, and I am out of here.